Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss the 2023 Marvel Cinematic Universe film, The Marvels. So this is an hour, 47 minutes long. It goes very quick, and it's a very entertaining film. It's a great film. I laughed. I had my, okay, go team moments. Like I watched it with my folks on Lunar New Year. It was a good Lunar New Year film. Fireworks in the air kind of a thing. We finally get to meet Prince Yan, who is Captain Marvel, Carol Danning's husband on the planet Aladna. So that was a great scene, absolutely wonderful scene. The thing with this film is that it's a filler film, and I know a lot of people said this when this came out, and I didn't watch it when it came out. I waited until it was streaming because I knew it was going to be a filler film. And my concern with this is that you have to watch many things to understand this film. And it's not one of those things where you could just go in and watch it and like, okay, cool. Because like if you're not familiar with Marvel's work since 2008 in regards to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and now multiverse, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make any sense if you have no idea who this character is and who the relation is and things like that, right? So in order to watch this film, you had to have watched obviously the Marvel films, right? Captain Marvel, the Avengers films, right? So like that's fine, but you had to have also watched WandaVision to understand Monica's Captain Rambo, her getting of the powers because she went through Scarlet Witch's force fields around the city, etc., right? So like that was a whole thing. It was a big thing. You had to have watched the Miss Marvel series on Disney Plus, in order to understand Kamala's character of Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan's character, her family, who are absolutely perfect and work so well with Goose the Cat and Nick Fury in the space station above the Earth. So many iconic moments, right? Wonderful moments. They all work so well together. But if you didn't watch the show, you don't really understand the family dynamic that they all have. And yes, it's just family stuff, that they mention here and there, like I love you, save the world, stuff like that. But like there's a lot of in-depth family stuff, the history of Kamala Spangle, right? Why that's so important within the plot of this particular film, because Darben of what is the Kala, right? That was the planet that the Kree were on that was destroyed after Captain Marvel destroyed their AI who was running the planet, kind of thing. Again, a lot of backstory, right? So there was like a revenge kind of story, this one, that I have this one bangle and I need Kamala's other bangle so that I can rule the galaxy, right? Very simple galaxy ruling, but in the midst of fixing the planet in general. It's the basis. But the three of them, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and then Monica Rambeau, have this connection to light, so the light energy, so they all could do something with the light energy now. So that's where they're all like jumping, teleporting back to back, kind of switching places when they use the powers. So now it's a matter of there's port jumping in regards to jumping from space jumps, that we see a lot of within regards to Thor, which we see a lot of in regards to Guardians of the Galaxy, specifically Guardians of the Galaxy. But we get a explanation of those, that the bangles, the whatever they're called, the ancient artifacts, were used to create those space jumps, those ports at one given point, and then how do they get separated and stuff like that. So like we get more explanation here about stuff we already knew, but then moving forward, at the very end, you had to have watched the Hawkeye TV series on Disney Plus to understand the importance of Kate Bishop showing up at the end. Then you had to have also watched all of the X-Men films to understand the importance of Monica now being in the X-Men universe because of that whole closing the gate kind of a thing. There's a lot of stuff you needed to know going into this that if you didn't know, if you haven't seen any Marvel films, you're not going to understand why a lot of this film was so important. Why one thing one character did and another thing another character did means a lot of stuff moving forward. You'd have no understanding of that. And that's my concern with how these streaming shows are getting sequel spin-offs in the movie theaters. Because now that we're doing a lot of the Star Wars shows, other Disney Plus properties, they're having a culmination movie or two in theaters. But if you don't have Disney Plus, or you don't have a friend or family member who has Disney Plus, or have no means of accessing shows from Disney Plus, and you've never seen them, then the story is going to be lost to you when you see it in the theaters. So it's now an isolation thing in regards to storytelling, and I'm not a fan of it. It used to be everybody had the same access that everybody else has to stuff. And now it's not the same thing anymore. Now you have to pay for streaming services to access exclusively on stuff, right? Versus just everybody can just go pay for a movie and see it. Now everybody has certain access to certain things. So what happens now when other streaming services have other TV series of theirs that are just going to have sequel movies in the movie theater, right? I don't have Paramount Plus as of this present moment. I don't have Peacock, right? I think those are I don't have Apple TV. What happens when those streaming services start to make their own sequel films in the theaters? I'm going to have no need or inclination to go see it. Maybe if there's an actor in it that I know and that I love, I might go to the movie theaters to see it just for them, but I have a whole plethora of information to learn prior to seeing a sequel film based on a TV series. It doesn't make sense to me why you're excluding so many people now to appreciate a project in the theaters when you had to have watched 3 different TV shows in order to understand it. You had to watch WandaVision to understand the Marvels. You had to watch Miss Marvel to understand the Marvels. You had to watch Hawkeye to understand the Marvels. The other thing that was concerning, and again, I really like this film because I know Marvel. I know them. I've been watching MCU stuff since '08. I watched Iron Man twice in theaters. I remember it. Valkyrie had a moment in this film. Rainbow Bridge shot across. She takes some scrolls. She brings them back to Earth, right? To New Asgard because she's been the king of Asgard, right? You need to know that information. You need to know that that's Valkyrie. Because when she comes, she's only referenced as, oh, Carol is saying, I called my friend. She's going to come and she's going to help relocate you, right? Friend comes. Oh, I haven't seen you in so long. It's so great to see you. Thank you so much for doing this. No worries. Anything you need, just tell me. I will be there for you. Can't wait to see you again. I'm glad you have a team, referencing the Marvels. And then they go. You need to know, need to understand the importance of Valkyrie. Saying, oh, you know, I was on some unintentional team at one point, referencing Ragnarok. So, like, you need to know that that's Valkyrie in order to understand why that scene was funny and important. If you didn't see any of the Thor films, you're not going to understand why it's such a great moment. So a lot of this film, you had to have seen other stuff to deeply understand it. I'm concerned. I'm concerned moving forward what that means for film, because it's all going to be about exclusionary and privilege. If you don't have the money to pay for a streaming service, or you don't have access to seeing something from a streaming service, you're not going to have any inclination to want to go to the movies to see a movie that's a sequel to a show on a streaming service that you don't have access to. It's concerning. Very concerning. I hope that it doesn't pick up after Star Wars. I genuinely hope that other franchises in regards to other streaming services don't do this. Please don't do this. It's not going to be good. And you're going to start to notice how much money these projects are losing. And Miss Marvel didn't make a lot of money. The Marvels didn't make a lot of money in the theaters. And gee, I wonder why. Maybe it's because you had to watch 3 different TV shows to understand the relevance of this film. It was still a good film, and I enjoyed it. As a Marvel fan, I enjoyed it. But for someone who doesn't know the content material, how would they enjoy this to its full extent? It turns people away. And that's what they saw with this film. I genuinely hope they don't keep doing this. I genuinely hope they do not keep doing this, where you have to watch 8 different TV series to understand this one singular movie now in movie theaters. I hope they don't keep doing this. Please don't do this. Please. I beg you. I beg you. It should be for everybody, not some people. All. We, not me. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.